Mobile gaming is one of the weirdest things ever, especially in the early 2000s when mobile gaming looked like this. There's a game somewhere in there, I know it. Now mobile gaming is more mainstream thanks to games kicking the trend off like Angry Birds, Clash of Clans, or Candy Crush. I'm pretty sure your mom or grandma even dabbled a little into it at some point, spending her hard-earned money for some more moves in Candy Crush or making the billionth post on Facebook asking for more lives. It's just one of those ways to see if grandma is still kicking from the extra live posts next to her more often than not racist comments. However, what happens when gaming companies normally known for their home releases decide to dip their toes into the market to see if they can make money off this untouched player base? Well, mostly just really shitty versions of other games on home console systems.
Now for me, I'm a hardcore gamer, so it was really tough for me to wrap my brain around the idea of not playing with analog sticks. But after 2 weeks with the iPhone, it's going to be very hard for me to go back and play this on a traditional game controller. This feels like it's always the way Super Monkey Ball was meant to be played.
We also got a few remakes of old games for the phones, like Sonic 1 remakes, so it wasn't always so bad, but it was only a matter of time before the small indie company we all know and love decided to dip their toes into the ocean of mobile content. Who was that, you may ask? Well, it was none other than Nintendo themselves. As of present times, Nintendo is actually doing pretty well in the mobile market with games like Mario Kart Tour, Pokemon Masters EX, and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. There's also been a few games that didn't do so well, like Pokemon Duel and Dr. Mario World, which are delisted from the mobile stores. There is one, though, that I find the most interesting out of everything they made, which also was their very first mobile game they even made and released. That game is also delisted in current times. It's none other than Miitomo itself. We were shown this trailer back on March 17th, showing us that Miitomo was coming to mobile consumers and you could have your own Mii on your smartphone. Miitomo was supposed to be a new social app, making it easy to ask your friends questions or learn things about them from the random questions the app would ask you. You could even comment on their questions and all that fun social networking stuff. The Miis could even be used as reactions to comments, kind of like what Snapchat does with your Bitmojis. There was also things you could do with your Miis, like dressing them up to either make them look fancy and cool or make them look as if they never saw daylight or learned what social norms are. What's mostly interesting is the fact that they have a built-in photo editor that's pretty good in terms of what you can do. You have all these unique poses for Miis. You can even use a bunch of preset backgrounds or take actual pictures for your backgrounds, or you can use save images you saved off the internet. I really like how in-depth this kind of goes for people willing to mess around with it. I remember actually getting this app on launch and having a blast with it, just interacting with my friends and sending dumb comments or answering questions, but sadly, the servers have been discontinued and there isn't any way to experience this game now. Luckily, we have fan servers now, so let's check out Miitomo. When you get the app, you're greeted with making your own Mii, and if you're familiar with the Mii Maker, then you're good to go with this. Taking notes from Tomodachi Life is editing your Mii's personality and voice. You can make your Mii as outgoing as you want, or a Mii who browses Reddit alpha mail pages. You have all the power you want. Once you make your Mii, you get to watch them walk into their very own virtual apartment. This is where you can interact with your Mii and get asked questions to answer, which then can be shared with your friends. If you're feeling daring, you could pet your Mii. This makes your Mii feel more like a virtual pet instead of being you, but I feel that was the intent Nintendo wanted to go for. Sadly, with this being fan servers, there's still some things that won't work, mostly sending Mii photos and posting them. The app usually will either crash or just give you an error if you try this. I also wasn't able to add anyone since the way you add people on this app is horribly designed, and I don't know anyone willing to load up an Android emulator to let me play with them. There's still a good amount you can do, but it just gets old fast. What's cool about these custom servers is that they give you a bunch of coins to use on the shop, so you're not grinding for coins. These coins are used for dressing your Mii with cool clothes and items. You sadly, as far as I could find, can't buy wallpapers or floorings for your apartment, but there's still a way to get them. This is the drop minigame. This is the way of getting wallpapers, flooring, plus some candy if you want. The flooring and wallpapers will change, so if you see one you want, you better grind for it. After doing all this, you can make your Mii's apartment look like a crack den if you want. Boys really be living in apartments like this and don't see an issue with it. I remember spending a good amount of time getting certain floorings I wanted, mostly in the game when I wasn't answering questions. One thing though I find really interesting for a game that came out in 2016 is the fact that the Mii's are gender neutral. I do know at the start you pick a male or female template, but the game never stops you from wearing or picking the opposite sex's hair or clothes. You can even pitch the voice as high as you want for the males or as low as you want for the females. The Mii's are also never referred to as he or she, they're always referred to as they. It's just cool to see this shown in a game, especially back in 2016 when I never heard much about gender neutral people at all. It just shows in a way how ahead of its time this game was, with games now barely letting you have those options. I also find a lot of the music in the game to be pretty relaxing and wacky. I really do think this game does well at giving you the comfy vibe and mood. Well, now I think it's time to talk about why I think this game failed. The main reason why I think this failed was how it was built. Adding people is very tedious. You either need to be right next to said person or get a link from them to add them, or you have the option to already connect your pre-existing social accounts to add them. Meaning either you have to go meet up with them or use another social networking site to then get the link to social network with them on the game. I remember having to use Facebook a lot to even find my friends' links for adding them. Another issue was the question system. Asking questions is cool and all to know them, but the game limited how many questions you could even see per day. After a while, you had to spend candy to even see the questions, and at launch, candy was only able to be gotten through the drops by missing the flooring or wallpapers. They did add later on candy drop for candy alone, but the player base was basically gone by this point, and once this was added, you didn't have to see questions anymore with the candy. It was just very limiting to players wanting to use the app, and the appeal of your Miis interacting and making funny photos only lasted so long. After a while, there really was no point to use this over other social networking apps, especially when you could easily just ask these questions on there, or better yet, just message your friends to ask them directly. The app wouldn't even let you message anyone directly, only comments on their questions. Another big issue this game had that I loved though, was how the Miis could say anything you wanted. I mean anything.
All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. Do it, do it, do it. At least it didn't hide the me maker.
There were no filters whatsoever. I remember abusing this so much to make my me just say fuck or shit or anything I could. This obviously being targeted towards kids meant parents probably wouldn't want to hear their kids' me's saying naughty curse words. This app just sadly had trouble keeping anyone wanting to come back, and that's why the player base was just dead. In only 2 years, Miitomo was gone. It also really shows how this game only ever really gets mentioned in videos like these, where it's some guy asking what this game was, because at best, that is all this game was good for. Asking questions. And my question to Miitomo is this: what the fuck were you?